administrative reports. 5.1, recognizing our student teachers. We have our Executive Director of Teaching and Learning, Melissa Lane.
Good evening. I'm excited tonight to be able to recognize our student teachers for second semester. We have some wonderful partnerships with several universities, and tonight I think the universities that are being represented with their student teachers are Central Michigan University, Saginaw Valley State University, U of M Flint, Oakland University, and Eastern Michigan University. So I'm going to start with, we have two student teachers from AGS Middle School, Nina and Nicole. Nina and Nicole here? So I'd like to recognize them. Nina is student teaching in a 6th grade English class, and Nicole is 8th grade social studies. I'm going to have the elementary principals come up and recognize the student teachers from their buildings.
Good evening, I'm Stephanie Roberts. I'm the principal at North Road, and our student teacher is Ann Ontario.
Hello.
She is splitting time between Stephanie Sofa, who is 5th grade ELA, and Lisa Melbert, who is 5th grade math. She's UM Flint. And she's doing a fantastic job.
Good evening. Craig Salter, the principal at Tomite Eastern Elementary School. I have the privilege of having 4 student teachers in my building this semester, which is wonderful to have them to grow our teaching ranks, I guess you could say, and we desperately need to have those kind of coming up through the system. So the first one I have Miss Madeline Welch. She is teaching in 2nd grade with Sarah Eastman. I have Haley Clark teaching 1st grade with Mrs. Horton. Jessica Spencer, who is in 5th grade, and she is unfortunately ill today from school. And then I have Kennedy Olzenik, who is teaching kindergarten with Mrs. Prestonese. So they're doing a fantastic job. I love having them in our building.
I'm Megan Yelly, principal at State Road Elementary, and we've had 2 student teachers with us this year. Miss Erin Koxick is right here. She is in our 3rd grade group with Miss Guerra, who has come here to support her also. So that her program is through Saginaw Valley State University, and it is a full year-long program for an accelerated credentials, right?
Yeah.
So we have Cassie Young at State Road also. She completed her student teaching in kindergarten with Mrs. Voltaggio, and she is through Oakland University. She's currently one of our building subs. She finished up her, we're keeping that her, yeah. Right, we have lots of great opportunity here for our district, so we are very excited to have student teachers back in the building and enjoying them very thoroughly. So thank you.
That's it. I'm just saying standing.
Okay.
I will just add, I know this, but for the benefit of the audience, how many of those student teachers are Fenton graduate? Please stand. That's awesome to come back home. Thank you guys.
Awesome, welcome. We're so lucky to have all of you. All right, well, thank you. And I don't want you to feel like you have to sit through the whole board meeting. You are welcome to, but you are also welcome to leave if you would like to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm bringing the second shift now. I'll go over after catch up.
All right, Melissa Lane will now give a report on our Reproductive Health Advisory Board biannual review.
Good evening. So I'm here tonight with a report out of the 2-year review from our reproductive health curriculum review. Background information, in June 2004, the Michigan State Legislature passed Public Act 165 and 166, which modified Michigan laws related to sex education in public schools. Public Acts 165 and 166 outline the planning, training, and implementation mandates for HIV/AIDS and sex education and parent complaint process. These acts stipulate the makeup of each district sex education advisory board, as well as the roles and responsibilities. Parts of the role of the sex education advisory board are to establish program goals and objectives for pupil knowledge and skills that are likely to reduce the rates of sex, pregnancy, and sexually transmitted diseases. And at least once every 2 years, the board is to evaluate, measure, and report on the program goals, if we're obtaining those goals, and the objectives that were established. So I provided a report to you and Superintendent Siselski, which outlines how the board has taken on those pieces. So meetings, the Sex Education Advisory Board met on January 13th, 2023. There was an agenda prepared for the meeting, and it's on file for anyone's review. All committee members received a scheduled meeting invite 2 weeks in advance of the meeting as required. Another piece is the public hearing. This Board of Education report serves as a public hearing opportunity for interested parties. However, there were no changes to the curriculum through the review process of the Sex Education Board, so a public hearing is not necessary. Within that board, the officers were myself, Melissa Lane, Executive Director of Teaching and Learning, and Nicole Kilpatrick, an Fenton Public Schools parent, and we were co-chair on the board along with the members. The member roster is also available for view, and it's attached to the digital copy of the report that I provided to the board. The law requires that at least half of the voting members on that board be parents with children in our school district. We are in compliance with that requirement. So the next piece is the in-service professional staff development. All physical education teachers have been trained as required in reproductive health and HIV/AIDS. Certificates are earned by the staff, and the certificate becomes part of their personnel file. In addition to professional development, Fenton physical education teachers coordinated the curriculum and developed procedures to be in state compliance regarding the reproductive health assessments that were given with the objectives listed below. Another piece of the law is the notification of parents and parental involvement. As required by law, Fenton Area Public Schools provides written notice to parents prior to instruction. The letter informs parents of their rights to review the materials and remove their children from instruction. Curriculum scope and sequence. The district's reproductive curriculum is available for review at the administration building. Parents are able to view each level of the reproductive health class videos that have been supported and selected by the Sex Education Advisory Board. The minimum curriculum or objectives known as A through K were taught. The district is in compliance. Michigan School Code Section 1507, the district curriculum is on a 2-year cycle of review as required. I've also attached that curriculum resource into the digital file. So in summary, the district is in compliance with the law as stated in Act 165 and 166 of 2004 of the section 608.1570B of the Michigan School Code. The district reproductive health sex education plan was reviewed by the Sex Education Advisory Board, and the advisory board found that there were no changes needed.
Any questions? Thank you. Okay, now we have our elementary intervention data report.
So our elementary principals are going to come up and share some data with you about the progress our students who receive intervention through our WIN program are making.
Hi, Stephanie Roberts again, North Road Elementary. Our WIN room is our intervention room. It stands for What I Need. It is specialized ELA and math intervention for students who aren't meeting their benchmark goals. You can go next slide, please.
course.
So in the winter room, we progress monitor every 4 to 6 weeks. Progress monitoring sounds just like it is. We monitor their progress. Every 6 to 8 weeks, we have data dialogue discussions with each grade level teacher, and that helps drive instruction in the classroom as well as the intervention strategies being used in the winter room. So at North Road, we have this little graph. We have 86 total students and 59 are exceeding their goals. So overall, 65, so that was 82% of our students at North Road receiving WIN intervention are showing growth. In ELA, 58 of 83 students are, so that's 70% of our students. Mind you, this is only the end of the second trimester. We still have a whole other trimester to go to catch up with those kids. That's it for me. I'm going to move on to. Okay.
Good evening again, Craig Salt, the principal at Tomac Eastern. The one thing I'll say about this graph here is when students go into our WIN room, they've obviously been identified through data. And when they are there, in our, student data system, they create these plans. And from those plans, they create these charts here that you see. So you can kind of see, this is the math one, the students that we have on a math plan. The green are the students exceeding their growth from where they should be. So it's obviously positive to see more green than the other colors up there. So that's kind of how we receive this chart here, is it's through our synergy system with student data system. At Tomac Eastern, in math specifically, we're servicing 75 students, and of those 75, 59 students met or exceeded the projected growth target for their fall to winter NWA data. Equates to about 79% of our WIN students, kindergarten through 5th grade, that's achieving their growth marks. For ELA, we're servicing 54 students during our WIN time. Of those 54, 44 students met their projected growth targets. Again, from the fall to winter NWA data, equals out to about 81% of our students in ELA are meeting their targets at need right now. And that number down at the bottom, obviously this is a fluid number as well. Throughout the year, we have students who may enter at any particular time of the year at our WIN meetings that Stephanie had talked about. We also have students that exit, meaning they've achieved their goals. We feel it's good to push them back out into their classroom where they're still receiving some supports in WIN time, but from the classroom teacher, not from our intervention. That's a number we hope grows more as we proceed through the rest of the school year. And that would be it. Up next, State Road.
Megan Yelly again, State Road. So at State Road, we have 57 total students. Of those 57, we have 39 that are exceeding their growth goal, and then 5 that are meeting their growth goal after the second trimester here at State Road. In math, we service 52 students during our WIN time, and 40 of them met their projected growth target for the fall to winter. So we are at 77% in our math interventions of students making growth. In ELA, we have 71 students, and 46 met their projected growth target for the fall, according to the NWEA assessment. Overall, that's 65% of students receiving ELA WIN interventions that are making growth. We have also exited 21 of our students. It's a nice chunk of students who are now meeting and exceeding and able to go back into their classroom during WIN time to receive services from their teacher. As our numbers, we're concerned with our ELA a little bit more, and so we are looking at what are the foundational gaps that we're seeing, and we're getting back to phonemic awareness and phonemes. And so we are expanding into our 2nd grade and 3rd grade with Haggerty Phonics, and we are having some of our 2nd grade teachers even go in and watch Haggerty instruction of phonics in our 1st grade classrooms to try and shore that up and take a look at why that 65%. I mean, 65% is great, but at the same time, we're really looking at what do we do to increase that. So that's where we are at State.
Thank you. Question?
Yeah, I was just wondering, is the NWA the only assessment that you use to track the results of whether there's growth?
There's actually progress monitoring data that's done by our interventionists and our classroom teachers on a very consistent basis. those goals are set individual for each student or each student group, and there are graphs that we have for each student showing their progress that their parents can access and that we share with parents. Because the goals are all different, it was hard to tabulate that exact data in to show the overall growth of the students in the program, so that's why they chose to represent it with NWEA data. But yes, there's bi-weekly or weekly progress monitoring happening.
Thank you very much, and you're staying right on.
I think it's
For our world language pilot curriculum.
Okay, so tonight, a little bit later in the agenda, we will be asking for approval of 2 new resources, a new resource for our French and Spanish world language programs. Throughout the first semester of the 2023 school year, our Spanish and French teachers have been piloting a few different programs, and they've decided on the programs that you see listed in the bar. I don't want to say them because I think I'm going to say it wrong. The staff has determined that these resources best meet the instructional needs of their students and would like to move forward with these 2 as their primary resources. In the agenda that was provided, or the notes I provided you, also included a link to the quotes for the materials necessary for that. So a little bit later, I will be asking for a vote on approval to purchase those materials out of the curriculum budget that's already been designated for the purchase. It's not any change in funds or anything. It's the funds were already designated, but your approval for that purchase. Any questions about the world language materials or resources?
Great, thank you. 5.5, new high school class recommendation, IB film and AP psychology. We have Melissa Lane staying up there, and then Mr. Shachowski.
I just shared them with you the slide. I promised Melissa I would have 30, 40 slides for tonight, only 30 minutes. I think I get to go first, so I can talk a little bit until we get those slides up there. Good evening, members of the Board of Education. My name is Mark Suchowski. Although I am the retired principal at Fenton High School, I am back to help with the IB program. The IB program requires that we have someone to facilitate, to coordinate the activities, and that's the job that I do on a part-time basis and enjoy it immensely. All the best parts of my job as principal in only 20 hours a week. So I wanted to start with just a quick overview, a reminder to everyone about the IB diploma program. We're very fortunate in a school our size to not only offer AP programming, but also IB programming. And there are 2 ways that students participate. Either one option is to be a full diploma candidate. It's open to all students to begin junior year. They complete over junior and senior year 3 standard level courses and then 3 higher level courses. And they also complete what they call, what are known as core requirements. Theory of knowledge, a course that's taught during parts of junior and senior year SRT. They complete creativity activity service hours, kind of an in-depth reflective approach to community service. And they write an extended essay, which teaches them all the research skills they need to be successful beyond high school in that process. And then they must take their IB diploma program exams. Other students participate by kind of picking up the menu of all the IB courses. They are known as certificate candidates, open to all juniors and seniors. They enroll in 1 or more IB diploma program classes. They complete all the coursework, take their IB exam, possibly for college credit, and they earn a certificate known as IB course certificate if their work is successfully completed. Next slide. I don't know who's controlling the slide.
Oh, sorry.
So I wanted to show everyone this is the menu of courses that we offer at Fenton High School in the IB program. They're divided by groups or subject areas. Language A is a student's strongest language, or what IB calls their native language. We offer IB English, language B, their second language, we offer Spanish and French. Group 3, individuals and societies, much like social studies. We offer IB history and econ. In the sciences, we offer biology, chemistry, and in mathematics, IB math. Group 6 is the arts. That's why I'm here tonight, to propose that we offer an additional course. Currently, we have IB theater and IB visual arts students enrolled in those courses, but they take 2 years to complete. There's so much work to do, and it's been something that has been really difficult for students to pursue. And so we have some students who do everything that's required of full IB, but they can't fit IB theater and visual arts into their schedule, or they're not interested. So we've been studying, since I've been on board for the last year and a half, what could we do to remedy that? Students, you see the last bullet there under group 6, students can take an additional group 3 or group 4 course and skip the arts, but we still have students who want to do something in that area. And we have a very successful video production program at our school, and we thought that might be a good place to investigate, and we looked at what IB film is, and we think it's a good fit for us. So students could be full diploma candidates instead of taking IB theater and visual arts or one of those additional group 3 or 4 courses by taking IB film. And that's why we think we should move in that direction. Next slide. And so basically the question I think becomes is, how will this course benefit students? It will be a 1-year course that meets the state of Michigan's visual, performing, or applied arts requirement. Every student must complete 1 class in that area for graduation. We believe more students will participate in the IB diploma, either as full diploma or course candidates if we had this film. And just because this year we've already been working since December on students picking classes for next year, and it's kind of all coming down to this week, we put out the idea that there would be an IB film class pending board approval, and we've already had 33 students sign up saying they want to fit it into their schedule, which is really encouraging. And basically, just like all IB all IB courses, all of our higher level courses, arguably everything we do at the high school, we want students to develop these 21st century skills, things that they will benefit from having when they leave us and go on to college or the world of work and throughout the rest of their lives. Look at that list, pretty impressive. Critical thinking, communication skills, all the things that we really can't deny are what we want our students to be able to do and have when they leave us. Creativity, problem solving, perseverance, collaboration, informational literacy, tech skills, and digital literacy. And then here are probably the 2 most specific ideas or suggestions that would benefit students taking this course. They would study film as text. I've had a couple students come up to me and say, I don't get it, what's this class all about? Are we going to do a second FHS news broadcast every week? And the answer is no. We have a great video production program that allows students to focus on just that, video production. Their focus is they aspire to create video that would be part of our FHS newscast, and they do a wonderful job doing that. But there's also a whole other part of video production / film that we don't get to as much as we would like kids to, and that is to study film as text. The best example I can think of is in some of our English classes, students study, now I'm going to forget the name of the novel, The Grapes of Wrath. But they could also study a great film on The Grapes of Wrath and talk about how does the film producer, director, actor, achieve what the author does through text. And so that would be a great opportunity for students to dive deeply into film above and beyond what they're able to do in a small way already in video production. And finally, students would be challenged to continue to acquire and further develop critical thinking. IB is big into reflective analysis and imaginative synthesis through their engagement already being afforded them through their work in their core classes. Students who develop the basic skills of how to read a novel and analyze it would take those skills and apply them to a whole new set of texts. And they would also be required to, at the end of IB film, is to produce a short film. And all the study over the course of the year, they have to learn how to be in all the roles that go into creating film, and then they have to analyze and reflect on which is the most important, which has the biggest impact, which one are you best at, which one do you have the most room for improvement in, and so on. So it's a great opportunity. We think our students are very engaged in video production now. I brought a few pieces of data. Currently, we have approximately 204 students enrolled in video production, but only 29 fit into advanced video and produce that FHS News every week. We have 33 other students who don't want that experience, but they want this. So we're hoping you approve it, and we think it will improve our IB program overall.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? All right, thank you very much. All right, 5.6, the MSP grant agreement.
We have one more slide.
Oh, I'm sorry.
One more
Wow,
class.
I am so sorry.
You almost made it.
I was just giving you guys a pass.
I mean, it's just automatic. I honestly, I don't feel like we need the slides.
Okay.
People know what psychology is.
Yeah, I would agree. So, good evening, board. My name's Zach Bradley. I'm the assistant principal at Fenton High School, and I have along with me Patty Gray. She's the social studies department chair. Obviously, the reason for Patty being here is if AP Psych is approved, it would go as an elective within social studies offerings at the high school for next school year. So, a rationale for the course, this is actually a class that students are already taking. Unfortunately, they are not taking it with us right now at the high school. They're taking it through Michigan Virtual. We have 17 students in essence that are contracting out of our building to Michigan Virtual to take the course. So obviously we have the philosophy, right, that students learn best brick and mortar, they learn best by our own staff and teachers. So our goal is, right, to bring those students back into Fenton High School with a staff member that has already been trained in AP Psych and that arguably will receive additional training and resources to even better the program. So again, our goal is, right, to in essence bring that program back in-house, right, from something that's been farmed out to Michigan Virtual, for lack of a better term. So a general overview of the course, I don't necessarily know if I need to run through every single unit, right, as far as what the background, what our students will be learning under AP Psych, but again, yeah, psychology, exactly. I think the bigger piece of it is why it's good for our kids, right, is it's an opportunity for them to learn about themselves, learn about interacting with others, and again, just that baseline of needing that extra social studies opportunity within the high school. So again, this would be an elective-based class, open for juniors and seniors. So materials and costs, again, there is an online text available. The hardcover that's recommended is about $150, $160 for a 6-year subscription. There is kind of indication that in October a new textbook is being released, so we're kind of wanting to pump the brakes a little bit as far as what a big purchase would look like and sort of what the October release looks like. But again, we do have a staff member that has gone through training through College Board. Again, it is an opportunity, right, for students to earn college credit if they perform well on the College Board exam. And again, the students are already taking it.
And we do offer standard level psychology. We have as long as I've been around. And many students have asked about AP Psych over the years. So it seems a natural additional offering so they can earn some college credit.
So again, the benefit to the students overall, right, the ability to earn college credit, especially if they earn the marking on the AP exam. Psychology helps you better understand people. It helps you better understand yourself, many interests of people, practical skills, social and communication skills, and really, again, the overarching theme, right, that psychology helps you better understand yourself. Are there any questions?
You said we have 17 students right now?
Right now,
Take it
yep.
online.
How many, like, in the past, is that number remain constant?
I think it's been rising.
Yep.
The-
We've seen a steady
yeah.
increase from year to year. So I think the interest is there.
Do you anticipate like having it on site, you'll get even more just
Yeah.
with the idea of not having to sign on and do it?
I think it
virtually?
goes along, right, with, again, our strategic plan and providing more course offerings for our students, right? If we're providing that offering and getting students, right, that option and that opportunity, right, it's one more piece for them within the building.
And realize we're paying for the course through Michigan
Yeah.
Virtual,
Yeah.
right? So we're paying for those 17 people to take the course because we don't currently offer it.
And AP Psych is more accessible than some other AP courses. So it's a great entry point for students who might not otherwise go with an advanced course route. It's less intimidating, and they can actually take regular psych and then take AP psych if they decide they're interested and want to try something higher level, so it's a nice opportunity for them.
Any other questions? Thank you, and I apologize again. Okay. 5.6, MSP grant agreement and memorandum of understanding with Fenton Police Department, Superintendent Siselsky.
If I could have Tom and Jeff come on.
Good, how are you?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, board, members of the audience. I'd like to introduce newly appointed Chief Cross, our Chief of Police in Fenton, and then our current SRO, Tom Cole. These two, we work very closely together, and we were so fortunate to apply for the Michigan State Police SRO grant. And we as a school district received it, which means we get to even partner with these guys at even a larger capacity than we currently are. Tom's been our SRO for 4 years.
This is my 5th year.
Yep, so this is his current 5th year, and we are going to add an additional SRO with this Michigan State Police grant. That will allow us to have 2 SROs for 3 years. So we're very excited about it. The MOU that you guys have in your board packet tonight is an updated MOU. Because we were grant recipients, we had to make sure we had an existing MOU when we brought Tom on board, but we had to change it just slightly so that we could have all of the grant components that we needed to have in that MOU. So I can't thank Chief Cross enough. I know just like we have an educator shortage, we also have a police officer shortage right now. So me asking him to add 1 more to our district is also putting a pinch on him, but I greatly appreciate it. So I can't thank you enough. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, 5.7, special education course approvals, Dr. Such.
Good evening, Mrs. Ross-Kessler, members of the Board of Education. I am coming tonight to seek approval for actually some classes that we have been teaching for a long time. So some backstory is that most of our students with IEPs take the general ed courses that are outlined in the course catalog. There are some students though who do need some specialized instruction, in which case their IEP teams determine what those courses are, and those courses are set through the IEP process. Because they're set through the IEP process, we don't have those particular courses outlined in the general course catalog. We had an audit from GISD for People Accounting this year, and we have a separate form that lists the courses, but then since we didn't have any history of when these were board approved many moons ago, I'm coming back around to kind of close that loop and then have a current list of our courses that are offered for students with IEPs that are determined by their IEP team. So that list of courses is attached in the agenda, and then I'll be coming back around and asking for approval a little bit later on. But these are all courses that are taught by special education teachers in a smaller setting, and by all of the teachers are highly qualified and approved to teach the classes. Any questions on any of these?
No? Thank you. All right, and you're gonna stay up for 5.8, School of Social Work Appreciation Month.
So much more exciting than a bunch of class lists is that March is not only reading month, but it's also social worker appreciation month. And we have an awesome team of school social workers that has grown the last couple of years in this district that we are very fortunate to have. I invited them here tonight kind of last minute, so I don't think we have any here with us. A number said that they wish they could have joined. But we have 3 general education, school social workers at the elementary level, Stephanie Miller, Kelsey Bishop, and Paige Milliken. They're in their, it's been about a full year now that we've had them on board, and they are doing just terrific things in supporting not only students and families, but also staff, which was part of our goal through the strategic plan. And then we also currently have 4 special ed school social workers, Heike Woodard, Melissa Foster, Elizabeth Smith, and Elise Hearn, that are pre-K and then through post-high that work with our students that have IEPs. And they work as a whole cell team. And then, while it's not Homeschool Coordinator Appreciation Month, I couldn't find if they had that, so I added on just to have them acknowledge as well too our 2 awesome homeschool coordinators. So we have Angie Smith at the secondary and Melissa Mung at the elementary. And as a whole, this whole cell team is just doing amazing things. We meet monthly to talk about what's going well, what are some areas we could grow, and they just come with like the best ideas and the best, we start with small wins, and they share just great things that they're doing with kids and that staff are doing with kids and that families are doing. So they are just a tremendous group of people. And then we still, put a plug in, we still have a special ed school social worker posting up there too to add and complete our cell team as well. So Fenton is doing some great work in the areas social emotional learning, and I just wanted to acknowledge all of them because they put in a lot of work. They just, like everyone else, when they go home, their job doesn't end, and they're still doing good things for kids.
Any questions for Dr. Such? I just want to say, please share our gratitude with them as well, because I've heard lots of positive feedback in the community and social workers. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Grace, student representative reports. So
Okay.
I'll do it without Madeline.
So I have Maddie's report first.
Okay.
She wanted to remind everyone that Lord of the Flies will be showing this Thursday through Saturday at 7:30 and 2:30, or Thursday through Saturday at 7:30 and then 2:30 on Sunday. And if you're interested in buying tickets, there's information posted by the board agenda.
Right here.
And then, Fun Friday last week, a couple of board members came down to the golf simulator, and it was really exciting. I know Mr. Herbstreit is really proud that we were able to buy that, and it's really exciting because we can work on our skills during the off season, because it's really hard to keep a golf swing when you have to take 8 months off. So, that's good for us. The boys are really excited because they practice during their off season, and now they have tryouts next week. So they're really looking forward to that, and I know Mr. Jones and Mr. Mead are excited they can utilize that as a part of their process for tryouts. And then, we have a book club now at the high school. A couple students who are juniors decided that they wanted to start one because they were always talking about books and interested in it, and Miss Mulligan helped them do that, and she was nice enough to be the host room for that. So they had their first meeting last Monday, and they're really excited about it. And then that's all I have for today.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Grace? She's got a really good golf swing. She does. She does. Much better than mine. Glad you didn't have any cameras, because mine was atrocious. It was fun though. All right, thank you, Grace. All right, moving on to citizens' request to address the board. This is an opportunity for the public to address the Board of Education on agenda or non-agenda items. All comments or concerns are limited to 3 minutes. Please be advised it's an opportunity for participants to converse in two-way communication. This is not an opportunity to converse in two-way communication, but for us to hear your concerns or comments. If warranted, Superintendent Soselski will respond before or at the next scheduled Board of Education meeting. When I call you, if you filled out this sheet, please start by stating your name and address. We'll start with Jason Teddy. Just put in the order they were given it to me.
Jason Teddy, Jane Valley Lane family. Thank you for the opportunity to address the board. My concern is something that I became aware of, the I am aware, or I am here badges worn by teachers in the schools. There's a lot of context to that I don't know a lot of people are aware of. I entrust my children to come to school for academics, not for political activism, not for sexual education beyond the traditional reproductive education, STDs, those types of things, much as we all did in school. We began this meeting by the Pledge of Allegiance, and everybody in this room stood up and automatically recited it. That is an example of something we learned in school. And it's also representative of our beliefs in the community. It's disappointing that I have to address a school board about political issues or sexual issues with my children. Academics should be the priority. That's what I entrust the teachers to do, not exhibit their personal agendas. An argument has been made in other circles that this is a First Amendment right of a teacher. And I'll give a couple examples of why I disagree. As a government employee, I'm restricted from offering my personal opinion on things for fear that it becomes reflective of the government's position. Private companies are the same way. Whatever that employee says reflects on that company and may be interpreted as the view of the company. That's the same thing here. These teachers exercising what they claim is their First Amendment right represents all of you. It represents this district, whether we agree with it or not. The answer is it has no place in school. We leave those decisions up to the family. We are here for academics. That's what our children should be taught. There are community resources available for any concerns, whether it be sexuality or gender identity, any of those things. It's not the place to be discussed in school. There's also an argument that there's concerns about harassment and equality. I will remind the board that the Civil Rights Act and all of its amendments talk about equal opportunity. It doesn't talk about equal outcomes. In a school situation, we should prepare our kids with the tools necessary to succeed in life, regardless of their personal preferences or what they do in the bedroom. That is what our teachers should be charged with. There's no guarantee on outcomes. Our teachers are to prepare our children with the tools needed to leverage their intellect in pursuit of any success.
Okay. Next we have Deanna Seifer. Am I saying that correctly? I apologize if I'm not.
Yeah, I'm Deanna Seifer. I live at 10015 Walnut Shores Drive. I'm a parent of two former Fenton High School graduates, and I'm an alumni myself. I'm here also to speak about the badges that I know are out there. It's my understanding that this is the new one that teachers are wearing, that choose to. This is what I find disturbing. The badges were sourced from the NEA, who promoted the I'm Here badge with a QR code that directed you to sites that included exceptionally explicit sexual information. The intent of this badge was to solicit minors into viewing this information and having conversations with teachers about this subject matter unbeknownst to their parents. Apparently the district approved and was allowing teachers to choose to wear a duplicate badge minus the QR code. Again, that's solicitation to the minors. There was no discussion, no announcement to parents that these were approved to wear. And both of these badges were seen on some teachers in various schools in the district. There is no clarity as to who actually had the authority to approve the use of these. Now, another badge has surfaced, the one that I just showed. and there's zero transparency coming from the board, the superintendent, the district, as to who designed that and who's providing them to a teacher to wear. Is the FEA promoting this? Any of these badges present themselves as controversial issues, and your own school policy code 2240 prohibits that. Your policy code stipulates that these issues can only be permitted if it's related to the instructional goals of the course of study and the level of maturity of the students. And I know that those badges have been seen on teachers even in the Young 5 classrooms. B, it does not tend to indoctrinate or persuade students to a particular point of view. It encourages open-mindedness and is conducted in a spirit of scholarly inquiry. That badge does not meet that criteria. The badges create division amongst the teachers, as some choose to wear and some do not. Are students to think that if a teacher chooses to keep their personal views to themselves, that they are not inclusive? Bottom line, the badges are not necessary. You have clear policies on controversial issues, anti-harassment, and sexual harassment. If these policies are being followed and enforced, there's no need to wear a badge. I was raised in the mindset that politics don't belong in the public school system. You know and I know, these are clearly a political statement and they do not belong on school property. We, the parents, are here too.
Thank you, Deanna, for your concern. Jim Sanchez.
Well, good evening, board. My name is Jim Sanchez. I currently reside at 10255 Carmer Road in Fenton. I recently sent a letter to the superintendent expressing my concern that the behavior of wearing the I Am Here badge promoting an LGBTQ agenda were in violation with at least 3 existing school policies. The policies I cited are controversial issues, anti-harassment, sexual harassment subsection of the anti-harassment policy. In a reply message, I really do appreciate the reply that I got. The superintendent informed me that the I Am Here badges are no longer being worn on school property. That seemed like a win. She also told me if an employee wants to wear a badge, lanyard, jewelry, or personal item promoting equality and inclusivity, as long as it does not violate the policies you so carefully pointed out, that it is within their federal rights to do so. In other words, free expression is guaranteed by the First Amendment. I am now given to understand there is a new badge, Exhibit A. And I've been told that it looks like this. If this is true, I assert we have the same problem I described in my letter. Number one, this is truly a controversial issue that reasonable people in our community would all agree upon. And it's really not clear to me how this supports a curriculum agenda. And lastly, it certainly has an indoctrination orientation. The graphic related to the graphic on this new badge features inappropriate adult sexuality images and is a clear nonverbal marketing tool soliciting conversation with minor children about sexuality. By the way, if one does want to claim this is protected by the First Amendment, then one must also stipulate that the badge is symbolic, visual language solicitation. Solicitation is clearly identified as something that's not appropriate. Minor children cannot consent. Now, as has been mentioned, if there are children, for whatever reason, being harassed under any circumstance, why aren't they being protected by the adults charged with their protection? And the culprits who are harassing, holding them accountable. Having been a band nerd, I know what it was like to be harassed in high school by the jocks. It wasn't fun. So any kind of harassment that's going on, I implore the adults in the room to address it, hold the harassers accountable, and don't allow any form of harassment to happen. The core of this issue is the intent behind these badges, and that intent consistently appears to be solicitation to sexualize our children through indoctrination. In closing, we in Fenton, we're at an inflection point. We can choose to defend traditional family values that have made Fenton a strong and desirable community, or we can choose to allow a small fringe element to push Fenton towards being more like San Francisco or even worse, Ann Arbor. Thank you.
Sarah Foster.
Good evening, I'm Sarah Foster, I reside at 3255 Donaldson Drive. I'm a teacher at AGS and I'm the president of the Fenton Education Association. The FEA is committed to ensuring safe and welcoming schools where each and every student can thrive, have the freedom to be themselves, and become successful citizens in our diverse and interconnected world. Some people are attempting to twist and distort our attempts to make students feel safe and welcome. We continue to stand strong and put our students ahead of divisive political games. We know our public schools work best when parents and educators collaborate on what students need and are focused on addressing the real issues facing our public schools. We are focused on coming together with parents and community leaders who care about student learning and student safety to make sure all students receive the education they deserve with age-appropriate materials and curriculum, and that the students of all races and genders have the freedom to learn without fear and intimidation. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Stephanie, any others? No. All right. Item 8, board subcommittee meetings. 8.1, teaching and learning subcommittee met on February 16th, 2023. Essentially, Mrs. Lane did a really great job up there informing us. Basically, that's what we discussed in our subcommittee meeting. So she'll be coming back around to have us take action on a few of those items here in just a little bit. 8.2, finance subcommittee meeting met Friday, March 3rd. Mike, do you want to start us out?
Sure. Our focus in the finance subcommittee meeting was basically 3 main things. First of all, you might have seen some bulldozers in action over here. So the property that's been for sale for 10 years?
Well, the purchase agreement for 7 years.
Purchase agreement for 7 years, yeah, it was a long time. So it finally closed, and that property is now property of Aldi's. So Aldi's is supposed to be coming to Fenton by around Thanksgiving time. They hope to have that property turned into an Aldi's by then. And so we sold that property and $1.36 million. Is that right? $1.36 million that we're going to be using towards security upgrades and other things in the district. So that's great news. Get that off the books. So major accomplishment there, getting that closed.
Yeah, and specifically, those funds, back when that deal was first started, were earmarked towards a new secure entrance at AGS. So we'll be looking at those plans that were looked at several years ago and looking at how we can make that happen.
Bus routes was in the busing situation. We're looking at some, we got some information on a company that could provide transportation to the district for busing, and we're looking at the positives among that as far as being like possibly more routes, which means shorter routes, which means less time on buses for kids. So I think we can all agree that's a good thing. So this is in the investigative stage as far as us looking at having this. So we did receive some some information as far as like how much our bus routes cost and how much they could save us by going to them. So some good information on that, and hopefully we'll be able to do something in regards to transportation to help out the kids. And the third one, where's our third focus?
We discussed that there's been an uptick in interest on the Rose Township property.
Oh, yeah. And then the Rose Township property, which is listed, that's like around $880,000 that's listed at right now. So roughly $880. That property is 63 acres, is it? So about 63 acres off of Rose Township, that's listed, and we've had some inquiries on that. But we want to get the best offer possible, so we're not in any hurry on that one. We want to see how things go with that and try to maximize our return, and we can take that $880 and the 1.4-ish from the Aldi's property, and put that together towards security upgrades, so.
And then the last thing we touched on, nothing's official yet, but just the initial governor's budget proposal. Right now, in the proposal, it would include a $458 increase per pupil and additional funding for special ed. So we're kind of waiting to see how that all lands. Okay, and Mike, it's still you, Genesee County School Board.
So the Genesee County School Board, I'm the Fenton representative on that school board. We meet once a month, and I actually talked about the February meeting last time because it was early in the month and we had that training that I went to.
Yeah.
So, but there is, so our meeting for this month is a little bit later in the month, and that's an opportunity for us to go and tour the GCI. So all the school board members have an opportunity to go and see what type of programs available to our kids. So I know I, for one, am going to be there to be there for that tour. So hopefully we can get a group of us together so we can check that out.
Yep, and we all had a sheet from Stephanie about our availability, so if you are able to attend that on March 16th, please let her know so she can send in our RSVP. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, before we start our action items, I want to just loop back up. There was an item that was an oversight, approving the leave of absence for Meredith Crane. So could I get a motion to approve Meredith Crane's leave of absence? That was in our 4 notes.
So moved.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, thank you. All right, 9.1, resolution to approve the purchase of new world language curriculum. Melissa Lane.
Hey, good evening. I come back to ask for your approval for the purchase of the world language resources that we presented within the administrative report. I move that the Fenton Area Public Schools Board of Education approve the new world language resources as they've been vetted through our curriculum cycle. Also ensuring that our teachers and students are utilizing updated resources is a goal within our strategic plan.
Okay, I need a resolution to approve the purchase of the new world language curriculum.
So resolved.
Support? Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Oh, roll call please, Stephanie, for resolution, thank you.
Mr. Pierce?
Yes.
Mrs. Ross Russell?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mrs. Brill? Yes. And Mrs. Jewell?
Yes.
All yes votes.
Resolution carries, thank you. All right, staying on up there, 9.2, IB Film and AP Psychology course approval.
Okay, so a motion to approve the addition of IB Film and AP Psychology classes to our offerings at Fenton High School. I move to approve the addition of the IB Film and AP Psychology to the course offering.
You actually have to do that. I'll make a motion to
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Melissa. All right, 9.3, Dr. Such, special education secondary course approvals.
Good evening again. I am back up here to seek a motion to approve the updated special education course guide for Fenton High School.
I move to approve the special education course guide.
Support? Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, 9.4, GISD Annual Budget Hearing Delegate. So this is Michigan School Code specifies that the intermediate district submit its general education budget to constituent districts prior to June 1st of each year. Our board has the responsibility to review the general education budget prior to its adoption by the GISD board. The district's special education, career technical education, enterprise capital projects, debt retirement, and school lunch service budgets will also be presented. Our board is asked to designate a delegate and an alternate to serve as its official representative at the budget meeting scheduled for the purpose of action upon the 2022-2023 general education budget of the Genesee Intermediate School District. This budget hearing will take place on April 26th, 2023. Okay, so at this time, we can take volunteers or nominations. I have spoken with Mike since he is our rep already at the Genesee County board. He is willing to do that unless someone else is just itching to jump in and volunteer.
I don't wanna hog it if you guys want it.
I nominate Mike Pierce.
All right, I support. All right.
On the finance committee, so it just makes sense.
It does. It makes a great fit. He's already our rep. Andy sits on the finance committee. So Mike, thank you for doing that. So any discussion before we vote? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. And then we need to have an alternate in the instance that he is unable to attend. So I know you're his alternate for the Genesee County School Board. So would you be willing to? Okay.
I'll be
So,
there.
I nominate Renee.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you, Mike and Renee. All right. Item 10. Board reports, requests, and announcements. 10.1. So there is a 3-district board meeting Wednesday, March 8th at 6 p.m. Is that at Lake Fenton this time?
Linden.
It's Linden? Linden, yep. So it'll be held at Linden. I believe Ashley, Renee, and Mike, you are all on that subcommittee. Okay.
It'll be in the media center, you guys.
Okay. Media Center at Linden, 6 o'clock on Wednesday.
High school.
It's the high school? I thought, okay.
Okay. 10.2 Operations Subcommittee meeting will meet Thursday, March 9th at 7 a.m. So all of you on that committee, I'm sure have that on your calendar. And just so, and all of you know, these are open meetings, so the public is able to attend any subcommittee meeting work that we do as well. 10.3 GCI Information Night and Tour. So Mike already mentioned that, Thursday, March 16th. Make sure to get your RSVP to Stephanie if you're able to attend. 10.4 Board Workshop. So we will have our next board workshop this month on March 20th. So that's a Monday here at 4 o'clock. Lots of subcommittees this month. Public Relations will meet Tuesday, March 21st, and it looks like they're still working out their time for their meeting.
And those of you on that committee should have had that on your paper as well.
Yep. And I know we're also working on finalizing the policy subcommittee meeting.
Yep.
And then our next regular board meeting is scheduled for Monday, April 10th at 6. That is different from what we typically do, just with the way spring break falls. We'll be having it the following Monday, April 10th at 6 p.m. Okay. Did I miss anything? No, I think we got it. All right. Item 11, Superintendent's report.
Thank you very much. Just a couple of things tonight. I want to kind of draw some people's attention to all the good things that are kind of happening. First and foremost, I want to thank Bobby and Tara Maximowski from Horace Mann Insurance here in Fenton. Bobby was the Horace Mann Insurance Person of the Year, and he gets to donate to charity. Part of his winnings he gets to donate to charity, and he's donated about $2,500 to our staff recognition and all the good things that we do for our staff when it comes to service awards and some of those things that we do at the beginning of the year. So he donated to that, and we can't thank him enough. Horace Mann is an insurance company that a lot of people in the district utilizes because it's an educator insurance company. So we greatly appreciate them and their willingness to continue to partner with us. So if you see him out and about, please tell him thank you. March is reading month. You'll see that ad nauseum throughout the whole month of March. A lot of our elementary teachers are focusing on that. I get the pleasure to read in several classrooms in the next few weeks, and it is so just awesome. So if you get the chance to be a part of any type of reading with kids, I highly encourage you to do so. It will be food for your soul for sure. We are also, in March is Reading Month, we're also embarking upon some new reading training. We had several teachers over here today who are going through the science of reading, just looking at just how the brain works, and you know, the old adage that it's not rocket science, but reading really is rocket science for a lot of kids. And so we're working on cracking that code for a lot of our kids. You saw some of the data that we have for our intervention students, and utilizing the science of reading, those fundamentals is just eye-opening to the way that we've done things previously. And where our teachers are very excited about learning about it, very excited about helping those kids where it is rocket science for reading. So excited about that. Owen Road property sale, I'm glad Mike stole my thunder a little bit, but I'm okay with that. It's been a long haul. The district embarked on a purchase agreement long before I got this position, and it's been a constant bi-weekly update. Dr. Bush can allude to the conversations with the developers, and we got into a national wager war between Aldi's and Target for the last about year. So that has all been settled. The property is completed, and you see movers out there moving. The purchasers have said that they would like to see Aldi's in there by Thanksgiving. So that will be interesting to see if that comes to fruition. But again, we're excited that the proceeds of that sale will go to AGS Middle School. We have a blind entrance there that we've been navigating for several years, and we're trying to make that a little bit more secure. These dollars will help us do that. So hopefully our architects are looking at some of the drawings that have been drawn in the past just to see if it's feasible still, because that was pre-COVID. And as you all know, supply chain has changed and all of that other good stuff. So we're looking at what we can do in the short term for that as well. And then excited about the Michigan Life Smart Challenge championship team. We had a team from Bruce Borowitz's class be the state finalist and be the champions in finance. If you guys aren't familiar with Life Smarts, it is a competition that basically is exactly what it sounds. It's about being smart in life. So it's the goal of Life Smarts is to create consumer savvy young people who will be well equipped for adult life in today's complex and global marketplace. Participants focus on 5 key topic areas: consumer rights and responsibilities, the environment, health and safety, personal finance, and technology. And so our team won the state championship for Life Smarts in finance. They get the chance to compete in the National Life Smarts Championship in Cincinnati at the end of April, which I know they're planning to go to, which is kind of exciting. That team is made up of 4 FHS students, Max Haney being one, Brian Rosa, Garrett DeWitt, and Jackson Smoltz. So congratulations to them. Awesome stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah, very cool.
All right, thank you, Superintendent Soselski. Any questions? All right. Number 12, discussion items. Do we have any discussion items tonight?
Not really discussion, but I wish Mr. Burwitz was here, because he's been doing a phenomenal job with that program for years. So they're always going to states and nationals and winning titles and stuff. So
Sounds
just
super
if you
cool.
can, Mr. Bradley, if you can pass that on to Mr. Burwitz, you know, he's been doing an awesome job with that.
Great, thanks, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, if we don't have any others, we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting at 7:12. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right, great, all in favor?
Bye.
All right, no, meeting